Did you get to see my drive in the first hole?
You hit it straight and pretty high.
I did.
Yeah.
Pretty long. Pretty long. That's no Joe Biden.
The slow trickle and changing of stories and narrative and lies from Donald Trump it's in full swing right now relative to this Jeffrey Epstein saga, his nearly decade and a half long, as Jeffrey Epstein put it, best friendship with Donald Trump. Currently in our country, we have a situation where the Republican Party continues to act like they are here to protect children from the dangers of woke propaganda, of hating the country, of pornography in libraries. The entire conspiracy theory surrounding the Democrat cabal that eats babies' faces and imbues themselves with mystical power from adrenochrome. All of this nonsense, bizarre nonsense. It's kind of coming to a head right now. And Donald Trump yesterday, because the narrative is shifting and he's giving the slow trickle. And look, we don't know whether the slow trickle is just by nature of Donald Trump not being able to keep his mouth shut, or if it's by design. I don't know. I haven't been able to make a determination yet, but he is certainly giving us more information each day when he gets peppered with questions. And yesterday he was on Air Force One on the way back from Scotland, where he was promoting his golf course using our money to promote his private businesses. And he was asked about his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein and the fact that he said earlier that he had disconnected from Jeffrey Epstein because he was a creep, because Jeffrey Epstein was a creep, according to Donald Trump. Not that Donald Trump was a creep, but I think we all, birds of a feather and such. And then later, he made a statement about how it was that he stole an employee. Well, yesterday we got the news, the little tidbit, the extra detail, that the employee in question that was stolen from Donald Trump was none other than Virginia Giuffre, who took her own life last year as a result of the trauma of being trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein and his friends, passed around by his friends. And Donald Trump talks about this not with empathy and compassion for the plight of someone who was horrifically abused, but as a transactional item, a ledger item, that she was stolen as though she was property by Jeffrey Epstein. And that was a bridge too far for Donald Trump. That is what cracked the friendship, not that Jeffrey Epstein was a vile, sinister, systematic abuser of children. No. That he got in the way of Donald Trump's business interest. First, though, let me say this. Find someone who looks at you the way that Donald Trump looks in this first clip where he's talking about his golf game. So many things are happening in the world, from wars and genocide in Gaza, the starvation, the systemic starvation of a people at the hands of Benjamin Netanyahu, with our assistance, again, with our money. And Donald Trump is ranting and raving and promoting his own golf game. The important stuff.
Nice, President. We all had a great time seeing that beautiful course, but there's some critics who say this was a promotional trip for you.
That it was what?
That it promoted you and your business personally. What do you say to that?
I haven't heard that, no. I haven't heard that. Did you get to see my drive in the first hole?
You hit it straight and pretty high.
I did.
Yeah.
Pretty long. Pretty long. That's no Joe Biden, let me tell you. That's not Biden, right? That was a good drive.
Abject dipshit. So listen, that came at the very beginning. I think that was the second or third question. Right in the middle, though, they really got to it and started asking questions about this change of tone, this more information that he's trickling out to the press involving his long-time relationship with a notorious villain. And this is what he said. And I want you to note the callousness.
President, you said yesterday your falling out with Jeffrey Epstein was over him taking some of the workers from your business. But your administration in the past said that you threw him out because
Well, maybe they're the same thing, sort of a little bit of the same thing. But no, he took people that worked for me, and I told him don't do it anymore, and he did it, and I said, stay the hell out of here.
This is the president of the United States. Some people, when tragedy strikes in the United States, refer to the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States, as the consoler-in-chief. Now, Donald Trump is bereft of any empathy, bereft of any notable ability to put himself in the shoes of others, to experience the hurt and the pain, or at the very least, to fake it, to fabricate empathy. He can't do it. He's talking about how he was wronged relative to Jeffrey Epstein and the crimes that he committed, the adjudicated crimes that he committed against girls who then became women. And in the case of Virginia, killed herself. We deserve better as a country, of course. Republicans even deserve better from their president than this. He laughs in their face, knowing that they are just on the scale of rubery, they are topping out. There's no level of rube that they can attain greater than that which they already have. And Donald Trump has seen to it that they are mocked by not only the country, but by Republicans in power. Anyway, what do you think? I invite you to this conversation. We can have it in the comments below. That'll help the algorithm to share this content with new possible subscribers, and that's always a good thing. Unless you hate what I do, of course. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. If you want to help support this work, click the join button below, and for $2 a month, you can become a channel member. You can also produce this work with me by going to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. Both those are fantastic ways to help support the work. You can also find me on social media if you want to do social media. Kind of a nightmare. I'm at Dollemore just about everywhere. I'd love to see you there. And I will see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another. The headlines obviously talked about the passing of Trump's big, beautiful bill. But did you catch what the headlines did not make note of? This same beautiful bill hands over nearly $40 billion of our tax dollars to ICE per year. This is more money than most countries spend on their entire military. And we're granting it to our version of the secret police. Despite raids on the increase and Trump's near constant mention of deporting U.S. citizens, much of our mainstream media has avoided talking about this funding increase. Or worse, they have twisted the bill's language to frame this spending as good for the citizens of the United States. This should be the biggest story in America right now, and it's not. And look, you'd be naive to think that this is anything other than by design from the GOP. Tools like ground news are an essential part of your news consumption for examples just like this. By gathering the world's news in one place, organizing it by story, and then analyzing just how far right, how radical each unbiased source actually is, ground news will expose blind spots like this ICE funding, and it will give you more context than you can get anywhere else. Shouldn't we be learning from history? We have seen Trump's playbook before, and the comparisons to regimes of misinformation and terror are alarmingly plentiful. Ground news will help you stay ahead on immigration, the economy, or simply bring your attention to stories missing from your newsfeed. Both Ground News' app and their website are smarter, more reliable ways to access the news unfiltered, to stay informed in the face of MAGA wanting to keep us in the dark. Scan this QR code or head to ground.news/Dollemore now to score 40% off the same Vantage plan that I use, which gives you unlimited access for just $5 per month. Or simply click the link in the description below to begin saving big. The right is absolutely banking on you to be uninformed. Stay ahead and see all the news with Ground News.